Welcome to Permanently Geek's Watch With Us Film Reviews. I'm your host, Randy. Sitting next to me is...
Michael McFarland.
And...
Dana.
And today we are going to be talking about a film I have not seen. This is what we call a one for two.
Yep.
Where only one person has seen it and two people have not. I have not seen it and Dana has not. That film is The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2. Part dos. Part deux.
Yes. So how familiar are you with the film series?
I know that Jennifer Lawrence is in it. She is very, very beautiful. Jennifer Lawrence, if you're watching, and I know you are. Hi there. How you doing?
Have you read the books or seen any of the movies?
No, I've seen Battle Royale, the original one.
Okay. All right. So you know you're coming pretty much
coming with a bit of a bias.
All right.
No, actually, I've watched the original film, and I actually people had a really negative response to that. But I watched it and I kind of liked it.
To the first film?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's like one of those. It's
the
like
actual original, not the joke.
Not the joke. Yeah, not the joke. Yeah, I've seen Battle Royale 1 and 2. Battle Royale is great. Battle Royale.
I have seen them as well, and you know, well, on the base level, the concept is similar.
Similar. They're very different. They're really not the same.
Because the whole story of the Hunger Games, and I read the books first, and then read the movies, watched the movies. But fortunately, there was enough of a gap between the reading and the watching that I don't remember what they took out or added, like what was
that
in
helps
the books.
Your enjoyment level.
Yeah.
It did. Because so I had missed Mockingjay Part 2 in theater, as I hadn't gotten a chance to see that, and my wife and I had both read all of the books and had really wanted to see it, and it just our lives were crazy enough we didn't get to the theater. So I had been watching every couple days I'd be like, is it on Amazon Prime yet? Can we watch it? Be like, no, it's not until the end of next month. So when we finally were able to rent it, because it came out about a week ago, was when it finally came out on DVD and digital rental and all that. Yeah. So we watched it just 2 nights ago, and both of us are like, wait a second, who dies in it? Who survives? I know the good guys win, but does Katniss?
Spoiler alert.
Well, actually,
that'd be really downer.
It could be.
It's
a pretty morose universe.
Not to spoiler it, but the good guys winning is sort of a mixed bag. Yeah. So your definition of the good guys winning is not exactly what you might expect going into it.
It felt like when I watched the first one, I sort of said to myself, like, there's some things where I just wait until it's all done and I'll watch all of it in one, because it felt like the kind of film series that you would binge watch.
You actually were just talking about that.
We had talked about binge watching.
And I really want to, now that I've watched the final film, I really want to
go back
in the same way that I will from time to time, usually about once a year, binge watch all of the Harry Potter movies.
Yes.
It's that kind of thing where watching the whole series I think would be really, really enjoyable. So part 2 of Mockingjay Part 2 was especially interesting because it was one of the last things that Philip Seymour Hoffman was in.
I was going to ask about that.
And he was great in it, and they handled it really tastefully, because my understanding is that there were a couple of scenes they hadn't shot.
Yeah.
And they found really good ways to make that work. Like, they worked it into the plot without making a CG Philip Seymour Hoffman showing up, and or finding a brother or cousin that sort of looked like him.
Clipping together audio from old films to string into a sentence.
Exactly. So I thought that they handled that really well. I'm a huge fan of all things dystopian and futuristic, apocalyptic, all of that.
Big fan of the apocalypse. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the end of days.
I'm. So
Bring it on, Trump.
There is some small part of me that thinks that as a musician who can write and play music live, the apocalypse wouldn't be a bad spot for me, because if technology goes away, people that can entertain you
got a guitar
in real life suddenly gain immense value. So there might be a little bit of that in my love for the apocalypse.
Now,
how can I capitalize on this?
I'm gonna tell you now, a man with a guitar can go a long way in the post-apocalyptic wasteland, but a man with batteries and a keytar
Oh,
legendary. Just saying.
So I should start stockpiling
all those.
A's?
I'm gonna go C. I'm gonna go
C batteries.
It's gonna be a big lug C or D battery. It's gonna go into that.
That's what goes in the guitar.
Casio guitar.
All right, good to know. I'm gonna start stockpiling for the apocalypse.
Also, keyboard ties. If you have a keyboard tie that can actually play, that's pretty sweet too. I'm pretty sure Think Geek probably has.
They
like
have
that.
to. If they
don't
yet,
someone has it.
Yeah. If they don't yet, we're suing you once you come out with it.
Yeah, because we came up with that idea first.
But I'd read all the Hunger Games books before the films were even announced, partly because of that that mild obsession with the apocalypse, and really enjoyed them. And I thought again, I did not reread them close to watching the films because I didn't want to spoil what I'd forgotten. But the things that I noticed were changed. I was glad that they did. Like, it was things that work well in
cinematic world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That worked in the books didn't work in the cinematic world. Like, for example, in the first movie, since I think we're past spoilers on the first movie. In the first movie, the mutts, the creatures that came after them at the end, in the book were supposed to noticeably have the eyes of the people that had already died in the games, and they they were not going to try to make that happen. It doesn't make sense.
That would.
I thought it was a pretty solid conclusion to the series. I think that the end dragged a little bit in the film, and actually, some of it I don't remember if it was in the book, and it might have been some of those the last pages where they're just sort of wrapping up, and you're like, yeah, okay, all the important stuff happened. All right, just give me the summation of the rest of their life after all the important events happen. So that was in the movie, and it lasted probably a good 5 minutes longer than it needed to.
Like Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
Exactly. There was a little more conclusion than was needed at the end, but on the whole, I thoroughly enjoyed it and would like to binge watch the whole series.
All right.
Yeah,
right now.
I'm looking forward to actually watching the whole thing at some point.
I recommend it.
It's been something that. I didn't read the books. I wasn't part of that fan culture, and so I think it was something that I could actively say I don't need to watch it right now, but I'll get to it because I watched the first one just to see if I liked the series, and I liked it. So I'm like, all right, I'm in, and then I'll probably read the books after I've watched the films. I'll go back and read the books.
Another post-apocalyptic dystopian series that I'm interested to see how the conclusions go for is the Maze Runner series, where I read the books and I thought the concept was really interesting, but I thought that there were a lot of poor plotting choices made that they fixed a lot of in the film so far.
Oh. I haven't watched those films.
So at this point, I really have no idea what's going to happen because the setup for the third film is completely different than the setup for the third book. So I'm really excited for that.
Did you hear the recent news about that?
I did not.
I believe it's the lead star was in a nearly fatal accident on the set.
Really?
And they shut down production. So we'll probably
breaking news
okay.
right here on Permanently Geek, folks.
I think he's okay.
Breaking news to me.
I think he's all right, but it might be a delay on the release because of that, and it was an onset injury. I don't exactly know the details because I wasn't, again, that's not my fan culture either, and so
right.
It's another one I was just sort of waiting until it's all out, and then I'll go back to it. But I did glance at an article and saw that he was injured. I can't remember what his name is.
Well, I hope he's all right.
Yeah, I hope he's all right. I hope you're all right. If you're listening, guy who's in Maze Runner,
and we know you
if you're sitting in the hospital watching YouTube and you find this video, I don't know how you would, but maybe you will. Let Jennifer Lawrence know. What's up?
She's not in the Maze Runner movies.
I know, but he might know her. He's famous.
Okay. The female lead in the Maze Runner movies is pretty hot,
I know,
too.
but Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Jennifer Lawrence. You know what I'm talking about, J-Law.
J-Law.
That should go to Jude Law. Ronald Yoder Senior Entertainment called that one. Maybe I'll put a little thing in one of these corners so you can go click on that. Go to look at Ronald Yoder's Jude Law versus J-Law. All right, folks. Take care. Wicked. Bye, Jennifer Lawrence. I love you. I love you so much.